Freedom the people of hell yeah. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. The one that free up the people. Levitate. Jamaica men.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of UIC Liberty TV. This is Joseph Patterson coming to you live from St. Elizabeth. Hope you can hear me and see me clearly. We've been having some technical difficulties, but hopefully you can all hear me. Today I'm going to be talking with a gentleman that goes by the name of DJ Turtle. So he's going to be on shortly, and we're going to be connecting via Instagram. So he's going to be over here on Instagram, and you're going to be here. And if everything goes well, you'll be able to participate by listening to the conversation. You'll hear his side of the story or his side of the conversation, and you'll also hear my side of the conversation. If my memory serves me right, he wants to talk to me about the UIC, about our upcoming event on September 22nd, which will be at the Ward Theatre. Well, at least starting at the Ward Theatre. We're going to be walking from there up to Halfway Tree. And he might want to hear about our 10-point plan as well and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that. Welcome Gloria Morris and Desmond Myrie, as well as Patrick Robinson. Good to see you on. I haven't been on now for a few nights. And the last time I was here, my internet connection was so bad that I couldn't stay on. But thankfully, we had Douglas Harper, who is really getting the hang of this and is able to carry on quite nicely without me being here. Welcome, Patricia Brooks. Good to see you on as well. So while we're waiting for DJ Turtle to come on, we can use this opportunity for a little bit of Q&A. Anything that's on your mind that you want to talk about. I wish I had a phone for you to call in right now, but my phone is going to be operating on Instagram. Hopefully the staff backstage will check out with DJ Turtle to see what's holding him up a bit. Yeah, but the big agenda item now though is the Walk for Good Governance that we're going to have on September 22nd. It's not an ordinary walk. Last year, September 22nd, the big issue was the pandemic and the government's response to that, how they were approaching that issue. I really didn't like the way that they were handling it, nor did the UIC as a whole, and many Jamaicans were dissatisfied as well. And so we decided to lead a campaign against this and against the approach. And we weren't against the product because we didn't know what the product was. We didn't know what it entailed. There wasn't enough information around. But we were concerned about the fact that people were being censored globally. Let me see here. 1 second. How do I do this? I hope you can hear that. Can you hear that? Let me know if you can hear. How do I do this now? Let me first go this way. Tonight we're gonna have Mr. Patterson on the live. So what I want you to do, people, I want you to share this live. Can you hear? Let me know if you can hear this from where you are. Can you hear? Okay. Oops, what is happening here? Oh, I see. Oh, I think we need to change this camera around here. There we go. And I guess I have to turn it this way. All right. And I'm dodging behind this. Yes, Mr. Credit Boss, how are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm not doing too bad. You need to fix the camera here more better. So
yeah. How is that?
Is the same place at?
Well, I don't remember where we spoke the last time, but it's the same place, I think. YouTube as well. Right, yes. So I'm streaming on YouTube, so they're seeing me straight right here, and you're seeing me at an angle. How is that? Okay, yes. Can this one work? Is this okay?
Yeah, this is good. These people are seeing you
very clearly. Yeah, man, I'm in my African outfit today, you know.
Yeah, I like the outfit.
Respect. Thank you.
What I want to say before you started, right?
Yes.
You said this a while ago, I don't go live. That's one.
Okay.
But when I get the call,
yeah,
I'm preparing myself to come live because by the end of the day, it's all about love and unity and sharing is caring.
Absolutely.
And I guess that everyone's supposed to be saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I would do now, I would want you to introduce yourself to the platform so people can know who you're being.
Yes.
What you're saying in Jamaica at this time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then proceed after.
Wonderful. So first I'm doing a mic check to see if my people on this side can hear me. And they can hear me clearly, so that's good. So my name is Joseph Patterson. I'm the president of UIC Jamaica, which is Jamaica's third officially registered political party. You all know that there were two main parties before. I call them the colonial parties. They came around during the colonial time, and they have been around now for over 84 years for one of them. The UIC is very different from the other two because we're really a movement. We're a movement that is committed to protecting the sovereignty of every Jamaican and to give us back our birthright, what belongs to us. For example, the land, which has been taken away from the people. We want to return the land to the people. We want to return the rights to the people, give them their true rights and freedom. We want to give them a new constitution, a Jamaican constitution, one that's written by Jamaicans for Jamaicans. As you know, the other constitution was written by the British colonial masters, and they gave it to their Bakra masters, those people who look like us to some degree, but really are not working in our best interest. So the UIC wants to give the Jamaican people a new Jamaica. For example, an Afrocentric education system that will bring out our Africanness, that will help us to respect ourselves for who we are, understand our history, understand how to build solid relationships, understand money and economics, and how to regain control over our personal sovereignty and national sovereignty as well. We have a number of plans. For example, one of the biggest problems in Jamaica is youth unemployment. So we want to bring in what we call the youth employment solution that's going to give young people full employment when they leave high school or college. We must have a program that makes them move from school to work seamlessly and stop being left out of the economy for years upon years till they become unemployable. So it's a party that's really focused on the people. Our nickname by some people is the People's Party. Others call us the Education Party because we're so focused on educating and empowering people. We're not doing handouts. We're not going around and buying votes and trying to trick people. We're here to educate the people and empower the people to make good decisions and to be able to build a country that's based on a meritocracy, which is every man earning to his full potential. So as much as you can demonstrate competencies, you will rise in the system and earn accordingly. So in a nutshell, that is it. As for me personally, I was born here in Jamaica, 1971, August the 2nd. I lived abroad for a number of years, and I returned to Jamaica in 2011. And for the last 10 years, I've been working on building an alternative to the two colonial parties, so Jamaica could actually be a free country, for sure.
What I can say, I like your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I like your presentation, meaning, this is my opinion, and also, this is a lot of people's opinion as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the expert yourself just come and tell us what you're telling us. We will say it's actually the same thing all of the politicians and always tell us.
Mm-hmm.
And like the people don't know who to trust, what to go to, because at this time now, people talk nice and sweet to politicians, but people are coming wrong. Because by the end of the day, we try the right way, and we're not getting nothing as a reference. When it's election time, just like now, it's all election time, right?
Yes.
That is when you see politicians come around.
Right.
When election time finish, we don't hear from them. What we mean, we say we don't hear from them is like, they would come to your house, greet you, ask you what is going on, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't really get that from them. Bullshit. But I understand that you get elected, you have to be in the office to be a work. And then now, when people we all understand that.
Yeah.
That is fun. Right? But by the end of the day, what I would say, right? I know and I feel just like everyone, while we get politicians elected in power because we want them to stabilize the price on the stuff. We want them to make sure that factory is there, that way the kids can go and get a job. Proper school, proper road, and all those stuff. I will say in this way again, alright? No, if you're gonna say the same thing, just as well, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna be broad and brave. I mean, that's just what I like.
Sure.
When you're Jamaican, you was overseas as well. Travel back to Jamaica, trying to bring back Jamaica as Jamaica is supposed to be. But I'm 30 years old. I'm born in 1992, and I can say Jamaica is not independent. I'm not sure if you're going to say the same thing, although you're soon to be an original Prime Minister for Jamaica, right? But why Jamaica is not independent, but they're saying Jamaica independent? I don't know if you have answer for that, I can highlight something to the public about that.
Sure.
And the next thing you know, who can be just you that if you get elected, you will do what you're supposed to do to make Jamaica be good.
Sure. So let's deal with the last question first. And if I forget the first question, let's go back to it. But the last question is, how can you trust me? Why should you trust me? The truth is, you really don't need to trust me. What you need to look at is, where's Jamaica right now? Where are we coming from? So 78 years ago, we trusted two parties, and we elected one of them 78 years ago in 1944. And after 2 terms in office, we vote them out, and we vote in the other party. And after 2 terms in office, we vote them out, and we vote in the other party. And we have done that for the most part for 78 years. Now, over that 78-year period, our economy has gone in one direction, down. Our crime rate has gone in one direction, up. The value of our dollar has gone in one direction, down. The quality of jobs have gone in one direction, down. The capacity to earn a decent living here as opposed to going abroad, that capacity has gone down. Our education system has gone down. So if you look at it, you must say to yourself, if we have been trusting these two parties for 78 years, and we have seen that they have failed us consistently for 78 years, we only have 3 options before us now. Option number 1 is that we vote for one of the 2 of them again and get pretty much more of what I just told you. downward trajectory. Option 2 is what many persons are doing. They just back out of the electoral process. I'm not vote no more. We're done with that. Now, that option still leave you with the results of option 1, because one of the two will still be elected and you're going to have the same outcome. Option 3 now is to give yourself a fighting chance by trying something different. Now, that's where the UIC comes in. We are offering Jamaicans something very different. We have made it clear to them that we understand the problem. The problem is the system. The system that we have is a divide, distract, and extract system. The PSOJ oligarchy funds the two parties and give us a fake dichotomy, a fake option to say we have two options. But then a two option, a one option we have. But they make it look like it's two by creating two parties, which is two sides of the same coin. So we know, like fool, go out there and vote, thinking we'll vote for one or the other, when what we're really voting for is the PSOJ, the private sector organization of Jamaica, and their elite members who fund these two parties. The UIC has come along now and say to us, why don't we fund our own party? Why don't we, the people, own our own party? Create a grassroots party, which is from the ground up, and let the Jamaican people fund it, so that when you elect us, we only have one boss, and that boss is the people of Jamaica. The other two parties, their boss is the PSOJ. Those who fund them is who they work for. They also work for the colonial masters, which brings me now to your first question. Your first question was, are we really independent? And why are they telling us a lie that we're independent when we're not independent? They're telling us a lie that we're independent when we're not independent. Yeah, sure.
Just when you said you're going to go to my first question.
Yes.
Are we really independent? It's not from your better.
Sure, no problem. So these two parties, let's go back in history and study these two parties. Before these two parties were formed, Jamaica had an Afrocentric party called the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party, PPP. Marcus Garvey formed this party, our national hero, our first national hero formed this party. It was the first true indigenous grassroots party we have ever had. That party stood for the people of Jamaica and would work for the black man. Now, the white man realized that we're going to have a problem if this continues. So they sponsored two other parties that were led by two cousins, two half-white Jamaicans, and they got us to trust those two parties and use those two parties to get rid of the truly indigenous Jamaican party. So they run out Marcus Garvey out of Jamaica. They destroyed the People's Political Party, and they created these two fake parties now and put in front of us. And from then until now, guess what they accomplished? They got the Jamaican people to stop looking at the true enemy of our people and start to see each other as enemies of each other. So we now start to fight each other. Instead of being united the way Marcus Garvey wanted to unite us, they divided us into two tribes and get us to fight each other for scarce benefits and spoils. And we have been doing that since 1944 until now, 78 years later. And the more we do that, the more corrupt we become, the more hostile we become, the more murderous we become, and the more poor we become. While a few of them, those who form the PSOJ oligarchy, those who fund these two parties, they get richer and richer and richer and richer and richer, while the people get poorer. And the people, as the people become more poor and more weak, these two parties get greater control over them. So much control that even the people's minds are convinced that two things. One, no third party can win. And two, they must always go and vote for one or the other. And they're trying very hard to lock that mentality in, because when they finally get the Jamaican people to fully give up on themselves, they would have been able to again re-enslave the nation, which is what they have done. We're now wage slaves. Many of us, if we want any opportunity, we have to run away from Jamaica and become economic refugees in another man's country and work for him and build up for him country while our country continues to go to the dog. And soon you'll have, whether it's Chinese or Indians or anybody else, they will own this country and we will be slaves or servants in our own country again.
I want to say good night to everyone who just joined the live. This is DJ Turtle, one of the Creditboss, selling credit farmers for raise cash and give back to the community at times. And most people wondering who is on the live. This is Mr. Patterson and the UIC party in Jamaica. That is a blue team. Remember, in Jamaica, you have orange and you have green. But at the same time, now we're going to have a new party in Jamaica. And I guess a couple years from now, this gentleman that you're looking at can be our next Prime Minister in Jamaica. And anyone want to come on the live and ask any question, you can send your request and you can come on. We get 5 minutes to ask any question. And I guess that person who want to lead our country supposed to answer the most questions once it is relevant to be in Jamaica. Or if you are Jamaica. Okay. What I want to say, meanwhile, the people are set up themselves to send your request. People, when I look at life and have understanding about human being, I'm going to explain a small story about this gentleman and my life, right? And remember, I'm a selector, so you know that we could talk nice and sweet people. Anyway, you have two parties in Jamaica, you have Labour and you have PMP. And find us you're very educated because you can be our next leader for Jamaica. Why you choose this route? That's what I'm saying, and answer me the honest way. Why you choose this route? Pushing this route to me is a illegal route because we know Jamaicans. How do you say?
Yes.
Right? In this category now is a 50-50. Right? If you choose labor rights or PMP, to go to be a minister, and in the long run, you can be the prime minister by the way you work of yourself, right? Why you choose this road that you know it's not easy to just go on that party because you have the education. But I want you to answer that question, but you know, what happened to that question? Because somebody said they first.
Sure.
I remember I said it's like all about for the people. People want to come on the live. Just listen to what I'm saying, and then you can proceed. Okay? Good. I'm not sure who the person be who I'm adding to.
Sure, no problem.
You know, like that. Good night, everyone, again. Welcome to the live. It's DJ Turtle Creditboss. Raise cash and give back to the community at times. If you remember what I said, okay, because I started. Hello? Good night. Hello? Hello, good night. Is it okay if camera is up? Anyway, no, wait, stick up in. This. Good night. Yeah, good night. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, so Mr. Patterson is on the line. The UIC party. You have 5 minutes. Proceed. First question. Now, this and people that I suggest to Mr. UIC. First question is: are you related to? No. Firstly, I'm going to be at the march on Thursday.
Good, excellent.
The protests are there. I'm going to be here.
Excellent.
I'm 26 years old. The question I want to ask is: are you related to Mr. Dj Turtle?
Well, I could very well be, by virtue of our common slave master. We share the same name. But I don't know of a direct relation. I don't know if I'm directly related to him. We have never had a conversation, so I can't say definitively. I might tell you no right now, and later on I find out that he's some cousin or something, but I don't know. We have never had that conversation, and I've heard family members who say there are relations, so I don't know. But I've never met him, never spoken with him personally at all, so I don't know.
I also watched some of the UIC's YouTube live stream. If I don't get the live stream, watch your master.
Excellent. Good.
I watch your interview. The first interview I watched with UIC is with Stanley Stevens.
Okay.
Then I watched Mr. Vegas on Unstoppable YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm following up with UIC. Now, what is your crime plan for Jamaica?
A very good question. Now, when we talk about crime in Jamaica, we normally want to hear something like, we're going to equip our police, we're going to do investigative policing, we're going to hunt down and kill the criminals. But the UIC takes a much broader view of dealing with crime. We want to first of all understand the source of the crime problem in Jamaica. And every Jamaican should know. They don't teach this in school, but every Jamaican needs to know the source of our crime problem. If you don't understand the source of the problem, you will not understand the solution of the problem. So here's the source of Jamaica's crime problem. The source are the two political parties that we're talking about today, the other two parties. They were the ones that created garrisons. They were the ones that created the gangs. They were the one that gave these gangs the guns. They were the ones that funded the Dons by giving them political contracts to fix roads and other things. They were the ones who provided the shelter and cover for criminals when they got caught and all of that. So over the years, they have built up a massive criminal enterprise in Jamaica. Now, we should never forget that the two organizations we call the two parties that has run our government and are still running our government, we must never forget that they are two gangs. They have done many, many bad things in Jamaica, dangerous things, murderous things. They have stolen billions of dollars from the Jamaican people through various forms and schemes. So in truth and in fact, we have two criminal enterprises running our country right now. Many Jamaicans don't seem to understand that and realize that and appreciate that. So if you want to get rid of crime in Jamaica, if you want to fix the crime problem in Jamaica, the first thing we have to do is to get rid of the two criminal gangs that are now running our government. Secondarily now, there are some social problems we need to fix. First of all, you must make sure that our young people can get work when they leave school. So the UIC has a plan called the Youth Employment Solution Program. And in that program, we ensure every child that leaves schools gets into an apprenticeship, paid apprenticeship program if they're not going on to university or a trades program, okay? So they're going to get a job that is paid on-the-job training for them to become meaningful citizens. This is going to starve the gangs of new recruits. Secondarily, we have to now use our army better. The UIC is going to turn our army into a very efficient and effective border control agency that is going to ensure that guns and ammunition cannot cross our borders as easily as they've been crossing into Jamaica. So we're going to stop the flow of guns and ammunition and illegal guns. So this, of course, is going to stop that flow.
Can I cut you for a second?
Yes, sure.
About the border,
Yeah.
border.
So we're going to use the army to better control the borders of our country so that we stop having the free flow of guns and ammunition, illegal guns and ammunition into the country.
And a quick suggestion, I think that body camera would be definitely important.
Yes, body cameras is definitely. So what I was going to say next is we then need to change our police force into a police service that becomes a form of community policing, so that we can have our police embedded in the communities and working with the teachers and the parents and the churches, the pastors, and being a part of the fabric of the community, so that persons do not become criminals. And if they're becoming, they have somebody that can change the whole trajectory. Then, of course, you have to put in the equipment, the intelligence training, all these other nice stuff that politicians will mention. But what I want you to first and foremost get out of this, we must realize that the crime problem is the two parties. They are the origin of the problem. And until we replace them from that situation, you cannot ask foxes to guard hen houses, right? You can't ask the fox to guard the chickens. Then go and name them. So we have to make sure that we get rid of the foxes so that we can have our chickens be safely protected.
Okay, so my friend that is in 5 minutes, thank you very much. Come on the platform and you can send him back a request again because it's live, okay? Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, what I want to say to you, Mr. Ian Patterson, right?
Yes.
You see, normally when they come on the live, this is what I want to do for them. Now, when they come on the live, and if they ask you the question, no, that is a close brief. You end up having a close brief.
Yes.
Like, you on the target.
Yeah.
Because remember, we had to deal with Jamaicans. The more you right on target,
Yeah.
and proceed because it's only 5 minutes you get.
Yeah, man.
Most people just come and ask questions and get over here.
I understand. I understand. It's just a no. The problem is this. The problem is this. Most of the questions that people ask, they're not quick answers. For example, the young man that called a while ago, I could say to him, put on body cam, use community policing, and border control. And yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, man. Appreciate that. I follow.
I would never cut you as a gun. I would leave it to when I finish.
Yeah.
And then I proceed and say what I need to say. But the person on the live and somebody on the live, I can't know what they have in their mentality. Just like I just stop here.
Yeah.
Because you get upset. Regarding said I come like that when I want to put it in.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Got it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, earlier I did say to you that you end up have two parties in Jamaica. And why you choose to form a party?
Right. Yes.
But not choose to go on one of those parties. We should kind of give a explain still.
Yeah, man. But let me make it very clear. After I took the time to study Jamaica's political system and the actions of the two political parties, if I were to join any one of them, I would be making myself a part of the problem. I'll be complicit. It's like you knowing that a gang in the community, two gangs, and you're going to choose that you want to help the community, and the way you're going to help the community is by joining one of those two gangs. Now, what does a gang do? A gang is involved in illegal things. They're involved in bad things. They do bad things. So you can't join them and hope to convert them. You have to make sure you understand that when you join the gang, you're going to become a part of this gang. And if you look at the history of all the people who have joined these gangs, no matter what good intentions they went into the gangs with, they always come out soiled or spoiled. You watch, all of them. I saw a nice young man the other day. His name was Andre Orton. Lovely young man. He has a doctorate in economics. Brilliant mind. And he decided that he's going to join one of the two parties. And he went in there and they chew him up and spit him out. The sad part is, after he came out and said how bad it was, he went right back to it. It reminds me of a passage in the Bible that says the dog returns to its vomit. My friends, we cannot join the gang and expect not to become a gangster.
I would agree with that because if I'm an evil person and they want to power with me, if I'm an evil person, I say I'm an evil person.
Absolutely.
That's why I always make this statement. That's this statement right now, but like, I didn't write it for the mistake, but what I always been saying, this word what I'm gonna say is very cruel still, but I still gonna say very what I mean. That's what I say, right? I feel like all politicians supposed to dead. And the reason why I say something like that, whether it's good or bad, because at the same time now, there's no way you can enter a party. You have to have sense. I know something now go on good as a reference.
Yeah.
Me in my house. Me and man for the house, right? At the same time now, the lady and the queen for the house, right? She must know say the toilet paper run out and she must know say the food in the kitchen run out.
Yeah.
If we're gonna place it in that road, me must know say the window want fix, the door want fix, the yard want cut, the tire want fix and so forth. So the same thing I will say in the party. Meaning you know what the good one, you know say this is not what good.
Yeah.
But guess what? Most people they just in there just for a job.
Yes.
To me, people get elected for running the country properly. I said earlier, and I'm going to repeat it again. Make sure the road fix.
Yeah.
That is your job. Make sure that we have factories that when the kids are leave school, they can go to a good working site. Right?
Yeah.
Good hospital. Make sure that the currency them stabilize.
Exactly.
Make sure that the prices of the food them is good. One, most people say, oh, it's a food I raise, I'm paying a raise. I don't want to pay the raise. I want price of stuff to drop. Because if they raise, they're going to raise things up again. And it seems like nothing never done.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I don't understand what we're really thinking right now to get the work done. Because by everybody want but everybody still has to depart. And like I always tell the people say the 14th part of a rise up one time. You can't separate everybody have to come together as one. You can start now. Everything we say going to work will stop. And I always say this to people not because I'm a Jamaican. To me, it feels that Jamaica will be right there. Jamaica is so powerful, but we don't know if they're most of them powerful. But Jamaica is, we have the most influence in the world, good and bad. We don't understand we sometimes. So when you want to say you know, right? As a person who soon to be our Prime Minister in Jamaica, Mr. Patterson, the new party, the UIC, right? The blue team. And you know, so we have an orange team and we have a great team. Me, you know, I don't scared to say this because I like me straightforward. I'm a labor I'm a straight labor man. And that's for once, never scared to say something like that. Because by the end of the day, you go what you do what you have to do. For me, naturally, me want to choose to go back and vote for the labor, right? And actually, me not choose to go vote for the EMP. By the end of the day, me not choose to do no voting. You understand? Because by the end of the day, me and everybody has the same content of prettiness until we content we hate. As a reference, look how much years, 60 years now. Jamaica is independent, and Jamaica is not independent. So you have to have 10% with grandmother of grandmother, so they need food. And Jamaica is not independent, and then we now from brother because there's a no, Jamaica is independent, and it's all. And no, you go from it, then not just started Jamaica is not independent. Then I'm fighting up, and it's normal people like Muta Baruka, and we see L.A. Lewis, and Copper Twitter, and couple other people actually fight. But guess what? We know as a normal people, there's a laugh over them. They don't understand how we are going through that virtue. Because what we said, just like we come here and just, and you explain that to them, that's what I did too.
Well, I don't think that's a fair statement because you don't hear any of them telling you the truth about the system. None of them have ever told you that they were the ones that got rid of Marcus Garvey and the People's Political Party. None of them ever told you that they're funded by the PSOJ and so they answer to the PSOJ and not to the people of Jamaica. So the UIC is very different and diverse because we have brought to the attention of the Jamaican people the scam. Because we're being scammed right now. The PSOJ gave both parties $300 million for the last election. And when they're elected, all the promises they made us, the promise of sleeping with your doors and windows open, the promise of 5% growth in 4 years, the promise of jobs, all of these things are just a joke. And every year, every 5 years or 4 years, they make us these grand promises and then they don't deliver because they're not working for the Jamaican people. That is why the roads still can't be fixed, because when they fix the road, they're not fixing them properly. They're thieving half the money. That's why the healthcare system can't be fixed, because when they fix the healthcare system, they thieve half the money. That's why our education system isn't working, because when they put up a school and pay teachers and put in equipment, it's half of what it should be because they thieve the money. So they've been doing this now for 78 years. The real fools are us if we continue to allow them to trick us for another year.
Yeah. Good night, Sina.
Hi, good night, Creditboss.
Good night.
Thanks, sir. Question. I have several concerns, but I'm keeping 5 minutes or maybe 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I have a question. I have family from Jamaica. I'm not from Jamaica. My parents from St. Lucia. So my nephew family from Harvard. So my thing is, my concern as a parent, as a mother, and I have also like got children there. They call me mommy. In different parts of Jamaica, right?
Yes.
So my concern is like the kidnapping of the young girls, the safety for men and young women, and just the children overall. So how I know someone touched on like the safety with the guns and the gun violence and all that stuff and games.
Yeah.
So what is your how does that look to you to make Jamaica like kind of safer and have all areas like all parishes like kind of unite with keeping Jamaica safe, not saying, okay, this not hitting my parish, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Right. Well, the UIC's policy is that all of Jamaica should be made into a tourist resort for the Jamaican people. So it must look like a tourist resort, smell like a tourist resort, feel like one, but serves all the people. The way it is right now, we have pockets of Jamaica which are distinguished from the rest, where they get special treatment and they're safer and tourists can come and enjoy it. In our philosophy and our position, the entire Jamaica must be treated like you would treat a tourist resort. So you're talking about good street, sidewalks, street lights, proper security, parks for the children to play in. A simple thing like parks. Many of the communities do not have a decent park for children to play in. A community center. Many communities do not have a decent community center for a child to go in, access a decent library, access facilities to learn to swim or to do some kind of activity, football or whatever. We don't have those things. So if we don't care for the people, which our politicians don't, you look at Jamaica, just drive through the country, you can see that nobody cares about us. The politicians don't really care about what happens in the communities. All they care about is how much money they can get by borrowing money on our heads, stealing some and spending some, and making themselves richer. All they care about is the next election. So every time an election is coming around, they'll be very excited. They'll be out in the streets. They will have all kind of, activities and even give away free stuff. And then when the election is over, it's back to business of stealing. So they give you some with one hand and they take it back with the other hand by not taking care of the society. So for us to have a safe Jamaica, a clean Jamaica, a very orderly Jamaica, we need good governance. And right now we don't have that.
Okay. See, I also like the point that you touched on. You touched on community. You also touched on tourism. Like the tourists should be safe for the whole of Jamaica, not just for when tourists come. So that was going to be my other question. But I wanted to just keep it to like a minimum.
Yes.
For the important thing. And I thank you so much for things and taking that my question as well, because I feel like if they can make Jamaica very safe for tourists, why can't we save the people that live here? People
Exactly.
want to come visit there on vacation, and then, like you said, after the voting is done, where is the care for the people of the whole of Jamaica? It should still be there after that.
Exactly.
So thank you for that.
Thank you for calling in. Much appreciated.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much for joining the live and answering your question. Very appreciated. Yeah. In the future, if you're getting married, don't be no kind of much of the way. Okay, good. So anyone want to join the live and ask any form of question, you don't have to come on. Anyone want to join the live and ask any form of question, you're willing to do so, because by the end of the day, these are the time when I said, when I spoke to a gentleman, was soon be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, right? And what I can say to the people, and what I can say to Mr. Oyster as well, yes, it's just like how I get you, and just like how you reach out to me and support, and you can be in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do that to actually anybody else as well. Once it is appropriate, because you don't know the certain place that really eligible. Anyway, it's about the eligible. Once you end up getting elected and things start blocking the right way, as who you put it to us, right? And you know, for the time, right? I'm a Jamaican, right? Jamaica supposed to have about 62 girls running for election, I will get elected for life and I'm telling, right? And I said, why did I never come on this platform? And what I do on this platform, I just do lots of greatness, I do lots of goodness, giving away credit free of cost. People who I do not know come on my platform, send money to someone, cash out paper, and say, who I never see before in real life. Receive that cash and send it to our next person who none of us never seen in real life before, so that they can help their kids and their family to be a better person. And you try to tell me that, yeah, that's more person like me out there doing the same thing, right? But guess what is going on now? We do not see the ministers are highlighting those set of people. Those are the people who highlight this when they highlight those type of people, by the end of the day, more love come, more units come, but by the end of the day, we are Jamaican. I don't know, but I don't know someone else saying the request. I don't know, but all I can say, once minister get elected, we don't see them again. So easy. We now say we must come send a rumba with our check. We now say we must come and strip club with me. Right? To go Jamaica, that would be peaceful to me. If the politician or whatever, 100 police beside them.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Yes, yeah, good night. How's the night? Listen, Mr. Patterson, good night.
Good night to you, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah, so Mr. Patterson, yes. Please, is the phone properly retrieved on him? Figure it out, please. Yeah, I hear me better.
Yes.
Better now, thanks, yeah. Yeah, so Mr. Patterson, you said that in Jamaica. But you know, you're giving this stop nation, public sector, we are donating money to politicians. Why they plan for it? Because someone like you plan to take money from the public sector for run your election.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for asking that question. It clarifies things. So earlier I said that the PSOJ oligarchy funds the two major parties, and the gentleman is saying it seemed like the UIC is going to take money from the public sector. I guess he means by, I don't know, but let me explain to you what the UIC is going to do. We are going to make campaign financing 100% publicly funded. And what do we mean by this? The UIC is going to make it so that no politician can take money from any private individual, rich or poor, to run their campaigns. We're going to set up a platform where every candidate, once they meet the requirements to run for office, they'll receive the same access to radio, television, internet, town hall, and debate. So what this is going to do, whether you're rich or you're poor, as a politician, as a person who come forward to say, I want to represent my community, you will have equal access to your constituents on radio, television, internet, town hall meetings, and debates, and then the people will be able to vote for who they want. So never again are we going to have a Jamaica where the rich and powerful are able to buy the politicians, own the politicians, and by extension, control our government so it works for them and against us. So we're going to wipe that out completely. I hope that explains the question or the answer for you.
So, see, another thing, the last time you said third party commission, right? So that was a branch from the jail to treat the people.
Yes.
So how sure are we are not affiliated with any other part? We're not going to see any of the same place them are recycled back in your party.
Very good question. Well, if you look at the history of the UIC, you'll see perfectly clearly that we're not an offshoot. It was quite clear that the NDM was an offshoot of the other one of the parties. And you'll notice that the UIC is founded by somebody who has never been a member of any of the two parties. Our candidates, we're operating in Jamaica, so people who may have supported one or the other party are welcome to join us, but they're coming into a different model, a different system. Our manifesto makes it very clear how different we are. For example, for 78 years, these two parties could have made us a true republic. They have not done so. The UIC, at the top of our agenda, is to make Jamaica a true republic, not a fake republic, like Barbados, but a true republic where the people of Jamaica, individually and collectively, are sovereign, where we're no longer under the colonial system of governance or the colonial system of education or the colonial system of economics. So we're going to change all of that completely, 100%. So you know that the UIC is a truly different political movement than any of the other two, because we're talking about fundamental reforms, fundamental changes that is going to set Jamaica apart from any other country on the planet in terms of us being a true republic that will fully respect and protect the individual sovereignty of every Jamaican.
So good enough, something that must be as we say we are look, everything go good. And again, like how the Jamaica police force have been become and cover them, who the politician have them come.
Very, very good question.
Losing them when they are not performing. We're going to see politicians in jail when they steal from the people.
Excellent question. So currently, the existing system that we have in place right now is designed to cover up corruption. We have a new model. In our model, you will no longer have a prime minister who controls the Senate and control the House. You're going to have an independent House of Representatives, an independent elected Senate, not what they have now, which is an appointed Senate of rubber stampers that the prime minister and opposition leader control. You're now going to have an independent Senate, an independent House, and the ministers of government are now going to be subject matter experts. So what this means is, instead of having right now a medical doctor operating as security minister and another doctor who is not really a doctor operating as our health minister, you're going to have persons who are qualified and competent in the areas for which they're supposed to be responsible, serving in those areas. And they are not going to be politicians taken from the House or politicians taken from the Senate. They're going to be independent of those two. What this means now is proper checks and balances. So when the minister is failing, he can't expect to get cover from the House of Representatives because they're independent of him. And he can't expect to get cover from the senators because they're independent of him. And so now Jamaica is going to have truly good governance. And out of this governance will come all the things we want: a safe country, a clean country, an orderly country, an education system that works, a police service that works, a justice system that works, a healthcare system that works, etc. The UIC is not about politics as usual. We're about fixing the problem at the source. And the source of the problem is the system and the two parties that have kept that system in place for 78 years.
So good. So we want to tell me something our culture partners and etc. So we have to dismantle the postcard, incorporate the postcard. I am for the army. Possibly some district in Jamaica. We're not declaring my apartment in big trouble.
Yeah, so we're going to we're going to change the way we look at the army, the way we organize the army, the way we use the army. The army needs to be fully and unequivocally engaged in protecting our borders, from customs to Coast Guard to every inch of our borders. So we're going to have an intelligent army, a very active and visible army that's going to patrol the parameters of our borders, and we're going to lock down every avenues that allows illegal guns and ammunition to come into the country. And we're going to make sure we have a top-down approach by focusing on the big men and women, those who are sitting in jacket and ties in our offices, who are a part of this system and are hiding behind the boys you see in the street with their pants dropping off their bottoms. We need to make sure that we truly lock down, ironclad lockdown, our borders and stop these guns and ammunition from coming in.
Well, as we said, Mr. P, someone good enough with hold you to your word, not take up any more of your time, because Turtle say 5 minutes.
Yeah, man, respect.
So many questions.
No problem. Next time. Blessings, my brother.
What I want to say, Majid, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on the line. I ask some serious questions, Majid, because these are the questions you need to ask you understand, because by any idea, somebody will run the country and they ask some questions before they even get elected. And as we say, so nice. I say the same thing too. As we always say, politics, this is not no tricks. I let you do the research. As what I'm saying, Mr. Patterson, you see, this time now, it's like we don't really care. When we say we don't really, anybody else want to join the live, they can send their request. I'm not sure if I want to get people. So if the live cuts, we end up come on about half an hour and wrap up, right? So the 1 hour would have been maybe about a couple more minutes from now, the live may shut off. So if you lock off people, we still have to tell them that going on. We're going to come back and spend half an hour more. If you don't cut off, we're going to stay half an hour. Yeah. So anybody else want to come on and ask any question, you already come on already, you can follow back again, because it's so hard to run the live, and that's what I mean. And I have 3 or 4 or 5 bros on the live, because that kind of complicated with that debate. The message not going to reach out properly. So you can always send him a request and follow up on the live or ask any question you want to ask. Keep it short and square and nice. Yeah, that's what I was saying now. In this time now, we know other people don't really care now. Especially when it comes to politicians. Even when we don't care, we are asked questions. One time people do the eye, they might ask questions and they might tell you how it is around the face. They might tell you the street for us to watch out. They want all that TV and that scanner. You understand? And the same thing, what would people want, whether the right thing, I understand that our person every part, then it's all stupidness. So we have to work on this and shift up this. Or someone is sending for their request. But we have these person, we don't know why they're not. Look why they're not on the line. So as what me and Charlie say, Mr. Patterson, and just who you are for the country, and who you understand, what you not see, who we are seeing.
Well, what you should really ask is, what is it that you're not seeing that they're seeing? What is it that you're not seeing? I tell you what you're not seeing. What many Jamaicans aren't seeing. Yeah. Sure. No problem. Go ahead. Yes.
I just this question.
Yeah.
Like I find that. Again, the next question I want to ask is about the kids. Mr. Patterson, what is your plan to help? I already said already on a YouTube live that educating people is one of the main focus. Definitely, I agree with that. But the kids them know where grew up in the ghetto, we are vulnerable, like abuse and like, for example, dance or gang runners.
Yeah.
Like tell them to do things and because they can't refuse.
Yeah.
So if they refuse, I force them to do these things. What are your plans to fix that?
Sure. You ask a very deep question. It's very deep, and there's many parts to it, but I'm going to try to summarize it here. So the UIC has a complete program to rescue our nation, which includes the young people. But I want to speak specifically to something I'm hearing in your question. Many of our young people, many of our not so young people, were led into a life of crime by people bigger than themselves. Yeah, I remember when I was going to secondary school, one of my good friends, he lived on Railway Lane in Spanish Town. And bright boy, him teach himself A-level mathematics just to show you how bright him is, and him pass, okay? But in his community, when him a leave out and I walk out in the morning or whichever time of day, a fella would just see him and say, carry this for me, and put a gun in his bag and let him have to carry that, and somebody else in Spanish Town will pick it up from him, right? Now, I want to show you what's happening here now. If this young man was ever stopped by the police and they find him with this gun in his bag, which he has nothing to do with except that he's coming from a bad community where somebody in that community threaten his life. If you don't do this, what am I going to do with you and to your family? And he has to carry that gun in his bag from Railway Lane into Spanish Town Square at the gas station, and somebody meet him there and take that from him. His life would be over if he was ever caught by the police carrying that. Yet still, he was a very bright young man. And I watched that young fellow. He did not achieve his full potential just because of his address and because of his social upbringing, where he lived and so on, even though he was very bright. Many young men and women have found themselves in similar positions, which you and I know nothing about. They have been pulled into gangs, pulled into a life of crime. They've lost their lives, or they've lost their families, or they've lost their minds even. The UIC is going to make sure we have an amnesty program to help all of those persons who are caught in that kind of situation get a second chance at life. Outside of that, we have an education program that is going to address many of these ills as well.
My next question, in the workspace,
yes,
I've experienced where people like me, ready for the work. We have them on the chat in my work. But the bosses or managers or whoever run this company, they don't provide all the necessary resources for the worker that want to do the work. The necessary resources, it's not there, and that can cause conflict amongst workers. What will you do to either fix that issue or sanction some type of sanction for these employers? What is your plan to fix that? As I was saying, the resources, they allow us to do work properly and comfortably. It's not there. What is your plan to fix that?
Right. Well, the easy answer for a politician is to tell you all kind of baloney, but I'm going to tell you the straight up answer. The way to fix the problem in the workplace, apart from obvious problems like health and safety, which you have regulations to deal with that, and inspection to deal with that. In terms of where you work and how happy you are with where you are, the best option is for you to have an economy with many options. Right now, Jamaica has fewer and fewer job options, fewer and fewer opportunities. The more opportunities you have, you don't have to stay with an employer that you don't like, that isn't meeting your needs properly. So, yeah, man, respect.
Okay, so for Dj Turtle Creditboss and very fast, give away credit each and every night and give back things to the community. And this is Mr. Patterson of the Live UIC Party. And we just ask you to turn on a question. People, I will be back in a bit just now. Please remember, share the live love on UIC.
So, yeah, man, respect.
Okay, so for Dj Turtle Creditboss and very fast, give away credit each and every night.
Okay, so the live ended. I think, it ran out of space and time, so it might have to start again in a few. Let me see if I can answer some of your questions on here now. Did we have any questions, staff? Anybody? Did we have any questions on here? I see lots of comments. I see one here that says, I believe that some of those who were, here we go, he's back. So.
Everyone at the credit boss and credit funds raise cash and give back to the community at times. And a big of article funds and a big of article funds. And tonight we have the Mr. Patterson and the live that is on the UIC party in Jamaica. That is the blue team. And actually, you know that now you're going to have 3 parties in Jamaica. Just now the live cut. That is 1 minute. So I want to thank everyone who was on the live, and I want to Mr. Patterson, yeah, the live actually,
no problem.
I'll give an introduction stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I guess the girl is on the live again today, but the reverse, you actually have 3 more minutes left. And Mr. Patterson.
Yes, sir.
As I always say, I'm wondering if it's true we grow in a different category, like in the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
So our parents said different, but when I said no, the reason why, because I see people come from the ghetto, I see them get rich.
Yeah.
I see them disrespecting people back, see them again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand, I don't know. I always try to figure out, I always try to say, and by why that set of people are sniper, that set of people there. And the next thing again, now we come from Jamaica, and the money can't get one land, one house, one vehicle, even woman, and anything you want. And guess what? That money do not build in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
You build in Jamaica. Jamaica take some things like the money not built in Jamaica, but the money spent in Jamaica.
Yes.
Okay, and the only in Jamaica alone they can spend. So the people who build the money, they can, and then one Jamaica then, can they build the money?
Yeah.
I want to get what I'm saying.
Yeah, man, I fully understand what you're saying. So I am a CPA, a chartered accountant, for the last several years. One of the areas of expertise for me is understanding economics, understanding money, understanding how money works. Now, Jamaica doesn't print its own money, which means that you leave yourself open up to manipulation of the volume of your currency and therefore manipulation of the value of your currency. But that aside, our monetary policy is dictated internationally by the banking cartels at the Federal Reserves and other areas of banking like that. Just recently in 2021, January, our government here officially made the Bank of Jamaica independent of the government. What that means is the government of Jamaica no longer controls the Bank of Jamaica. And by extension, the people of Jamaica no longer control the Bank of Jamaica. So who controls it? Well, the banking cartel in Jamaica that represents the banking cartel in the international monetary system. Yeah. So Jamaica has absolutely no control over its money, over the value of its money or anything, which now leaves the Jamaican people vulnerable because they can inflate away the value of our money and keep us behind. So as I said earlier on, our money not keeping up with the cost of living, or our wages not keeping up with the cost of living. That's the end result of that. The UIC is going to do away with that system. We're going to take Jamaica out of the fraudulent monetary system and employ what we call real money, free banking in Jamaica, so that we no longer have the value of our dollar being dictated by others. Of course, we have to do our own inside work. We have to build our own productivity. The normal value of your dollar on an international level is based on how much you export versus how much you import. So if you import more than you export, then you'll continue to lose value internationally for your dollar. Jamaica has consistently been declining in productivity, which is why the value of our dollar is declining. So until we fix our productivity problem, which is quite simple, by the way, our productivity problem is our governance problem. Bad governance leads to lower productivity. And so Jamaica has bad governance, so low productivity. The UIC is going to introduce good governance, and that will then push up our productivity and bring up the value of our dollar and put it more on par with that of the US, Canada, and Britain.
And the reason why I actually said that, right?
Yeah.
Common sense again. Remember, I'm sure no simply a machine make money, right?
Yeah.
And also, we don't know what else they use and cut now what they want to use the fabric to design and print it, right?
Yeah.
But that's how people. So, say that to say this, right? That for sure that Jamaica is no independent, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because no way a country supposed to be independent and the money come from somewhere else. That makes sense. We agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yes. I mean, in all fairness to the existing system, right? Jamaica cannot produce its own money in the way we currently run ourselves because we don't have the technology, we don't have the tools, we don't have the intellect. So our government for the last 78 years have not built in Jamaica the capacity, the tools, the machinery, the intellectual capacity to produce something as tricky as money, because it has to be very precise, right? It has to be very, very well designed to prevent counterfeiting. That is why, for example, in Jamaica, we don't build our own roads because we're not smart enough. Our politicians have dumbed us down and caused the best of us to migrate. We don't build our own hospitals because we're not smart enough. Our politicians have dumbed us down and caused the best of us to migrate. We don't produce high quality students anymore in terms of the majority. 70% of our students are failures because the politicians have run out the teachers out of the country. So if we're going to do anything, we're going to have to realize that we need a government that brings out the best in our people. We need a government that causes us to have the best and the brightest staying here, serving in our police force, serving in our healthcare facilities, serving in our schools, serving in our army, serving in our private sector in terms of building companies, So I don't know where you are, DJ Boss, but many Jamaicans of any note, of capacity, are outside the country. In fact, the best of us are outside of Jamaica. Only a few of us are here. So every time we graduate 100 students, only about 30 of them are at the level that they need to be roughly. And of that 30, about 20 to 25 of them migrate shortly thereafter. So you notice what's happening. We're building up a higher capacity of failures, keeping a small number of successful students and sending the vast majority of our best students to other countries. They're going to Canada and working very well in Canada, working very well in the US, working very well in England, even Sweden or Singapore. Our people, the best of us, are elsewhere. And that is how our politicians, the two major parties, have been able to get a lock on this country by keeping the people poor not just financially, but mentally. If you can keep the majority of Jamaicans poor financially and mentally, you can control them politically and steal away their labor, steal away their wealth. And that's what they're doing. That is what I call the master-slave economics. Remember, in slavery, how do you keep the slaves? You keep them fearful. Just like how today, everybody is afraid to get involved in politics. They're afraid to lose their jobs. They're afraid of being victimized. The slave, afraid of being killed, afraid of being beaten. So you keep the slave fearful. Then what did they do in slavery? They keep you from learning. They said that don't teach a slave to read and write. What do they do in the modern slave system? Don't teach them the truth. They must not know the truth about money, how money works, how economics work. You must make maths hard for them. They must fail maths so they can think and analyze. You must not teach them about themselves so they understand where they come from and where they can go. You must keep them in a state of just learning, swatting, and passing exams to get a job under somebody else, not to become innovators and creators. You understand? Slavery, don't educate them. Modern slavery, poorly educate them. Slavery, make them fearful of death and punishment. Modern slavery makes them fearful of politics and victimization. So the best of us stay out of politics. Yeah? And then finally now, keep them poor. The slaves were kept poor and living on the margins. In Jamaica, the modern slavery, the people are kept poor and living on the margin, so they can't compete with them. The private sector organization of Jamaica, when they give these two parties 300 million, they know the poor Jamaican man, little third party, can't match them. They know that the little third party can't match them 300 million, because where am I get the money from? They taught the people never to donate to political parties. They must expect something. They must say, when a politician comes, the people must hold out their hand. What are you going to give me? What little sweetie are you going to give me now? What little niceness are you going to give me right now? Little short-term niceness, a little $3,000 or $5,000, a sheet of zinc, a goat, a chicken. What little nice thing are you going to give me now? And then after you give me that, you spend the next 5 years thieving all the money that would give me good roads, good school, good hospital, good jobs, good economy. And we, the people, remain just like the slaves, ignorant, fearful, and poor. And as long as we stay that way, they continue to control us and be lord and governors over us. And they work on behalf of the PSOJ oligarchy and the colonial masters, make themselves as middlemen, rich middlemen who pretend to care about the poor. Middlemen who pretend to care about the poor, but they're really backroom masters working for the colonial masters to keep Jamaica within the colonial system. That's why the Prime Minister said we must mourn for 12 days. Mourn for our slave masters. Mourn for those who sit in the seat of our slave masters. Mourn for those who have robbed and raped our people for hundreds of years. The Prime Minister wants us to mourn for that person instead of mourning for our condition as a people right now. We should have 1 year of mourning for where we are today, for how they have decimated us as a people, how they have ripped us off as a people, how they have disfigured us as a people, how they have robbed us of our heritage and of our wealth as a people. And I'll give you one example. Every Jamaican should be a property owner in Jamaica. Every family should be a property owner. But no. They followed the formula of our colonial masters. Do not make the people own property. Give that to the politicians and a few people, and let any one of us who want it have a slave for own a piece of land and work 40 years to build an unfinished house. That's what they've done to our people. And if we don't understand that, and if we don't rise up against that, they will do that to us for another 78 years. But it will be worse for our children than it is for us. That's why all the way we're going to run away from this country and give it to other people who will enjoy the fruits that we have worked so hard and slaved for.
Good night, everyone. My name is Dj Turtle Creditboss and Creditboss Race Cash and Blue Box the community. And tonight we have with us Mr. Patterson for the UIC party in Jamaica. That is a blue team. That is a new party in Jamaica. Most of us accustomed to PMP and Labor. That is an orange team and that is a green team. I see your comments in the comment section for people. What I'm saying to you, it's nice when I hear the people voice. Because when the live safe, we're not going to see the comment, that's one. So you can send in your requests. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Because by the end of the day, it's a message. You ask the question and you get the answer. Okay, Mr. Patterson, you know what I really like with you? When we say what I really like with you, I think that our politician is like that. When we say our politician like leaders. They study with them job, that's one. And any question asked to you, have answer for it, that's one.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a good stuff for our answer. So, what I'm going to say, right? After the answer for every question put to you, I hope that will be the next Prime Minister for Jamaica, right? Just as I said in the next line, right? Just like how we take the time on that can be on the platform,
Yes.
you're supposed to do that as well when you get elected. Also, you're supposed to go around to other people's platform as well, whether you're elected or you're not elected, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you must find time for the peoples as well. And what I can say to you again, normally there's a promise comfort to a fool.
Mm-hmm.
That's one.
Yes.
The next thing again, though, there's a politician come with politics again. We call it politics.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we are talking right, kind of makes sense. We talk people kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we all got to try to show the minister them so serious. We're not gonna joking thing.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, you can't change the diet, DMP. You can't change the diet, right? But the few person who want a better for the country, I hope that you proceed, you do what you're supposed to do. And what I will say to you before you give this statement, right? Hold on. I'm going to brief two things to you, right? Hold on, it will take, if you get elected, to make progress happen. That's one. And I realize that you're going to have a campaign. I think it's this week or next week.
Mm-hmm.
Inform the people and tell them what it's going to be all about.
Yes.
And the next thing I want to ask, we're going to have EVJ there, we're going to have CBN, we're going to have RJR. What is it all about?
Mm-hmm.
Some brief there. You know, you can send a request and join live. As I said, I see your comments, but just as I said, you have to send in the request and have a conversation. 5 minutes, right?
All right. So in terms of, well, first of all, on Thursday, this Thursday, the 22nd of September, we're going to have what we call Enough is Enough, Good Governance Now campaign, which kicks off at Ward Theatre, downtown Kingston at 10 a.m. We're going to be walking from there all the way to Era Circle, and then to Emancipation Park, and then to Mandela Park in Halfway Tree. We're demanding good governance now, but we're not demanding it of the politicians. We're demanding it of ourselves. We, the people, to rise up now and take matters into our own hands, because those that we have entrusted with 78 years, they have failed us, right? In your little speech a while ago, you talked about what I have to do, but the truth is, it's what we have to do. The UIC is not about Joseph Patterson. I am just the voice of the people. I am the representation of the people as president of the movement, but this is our movement. We have to realize that we are at a critical moment here. If we are foolish enough, we will continue to trust those who have deceived us for 78 years. That's the question. Are we going to be foolish enough to trust us? Some people are young. They're in their 20s. Please check the history. You're in your 30s. Check the history. You're in your 40s. Check the history. If you give a man, if you give a movement, if you give a management team 78 years to fix your business and they failed, why do you want to trust them for another year?
So what I got, but end of the night, sit down.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. I know that you don't want to send a request, but I see you going off. Yeah, so that's gonna count you up. You have 5 minutes, go ahead.
Sir, I didn't send a request, so I don't necessarily have a question per se. What I am saying is that the last time you were here, you spoke on this line.
Good.
So now you're back. I would like to know that. How are you progressing? Have you reached out to more people in Jamaica? Do you find that Right.
Thank you. Very good question. The UIC is a growing movement, and it's really the question you're asking me is really the question that we need to ask ourselves. How committed are we to rescuing our country? Are we comfortable to sit by and watch and hope that things change, or are we willing to get involved? So far, a number of persons have joined the movement. Our fundraising is getting better and better and better every day. Our chances of being elected are higher, but it's not easy. Why? Because the more we climb, is the harder the powers are working to stop us. So, for example, you will not see us on TVJ and CVM normally because they have blocked us. The PSOJ, which controls the two-party, also owns the media in Jamaica. So they have instructed them to block the UIC. They're also shadow banning us on social media. So they're after us on social media, reporting everything we post and trying to create all kind of obstruction. So the UIC is really what Jamaica needs, but the powers that be are making sure that it's as hard as possible for the Jamaican people to see us or hear us. And remember, we're not being funded by any big business. Our funding comes entirely from we the people. So it's me donating my time, my talents and money, and you donating your time, your talents and money, and the combined effect of that gives us an alternative to what's there. If we do not build this movement together, all it means is that we're locked into another 78 years or worse of what now obtains. And I hope all Jamaicans understand that. It's not about, don't look at this as me like Joseph Patterson becoming the next prime minister. Me not care about that. What I care about is, are we going to have a Jamaica that is safe, a Jamaica that is clean, a Jamaica that is orderly, a Jamaica where everybody can live, earn, and retire with dignity? Or are we going to continue to fool ourselves and hope that the people that we have in power now, those who led us down the path of crime and corruption, are we going to allow them to continue to trick us with sweetie at election time, and then at the end of the day, we're left with more crime, a bad economy, low jobs, and low wages? That's the question. So if an election is called...
So I'm going to refer back to the question that I asked.
Yes.
You answered me and you said that you've been shadow blocked online.
Yes.
We all know about Big Six in the media and that they all control the media, and that you're being blocked there as well.
Mhm.
What about going into the communities and talking to individual persons door to door, like the Jehovah's Witnesses? Do you think that is something that you guys could do or is doing or plan to do? Because you have to get
Yes.
the word out there. Not a lot of people know that you guys exist.
So-
And without knowing that you guys exist and handing out the pamphlets and letting them know what you stand for, your vision, how you plan on carrying out these, promises, which we get all the time, but you have to communicate. This is why I brought it back to this question. How do you plan on communicating with individuals?
Sure. So we, for example, on Thursday, the 22nd, we're going to be at Ward Theatre, and we're walking from there all the way to Mandela Park. And during that process, we're engaging with people, right, in our mass numbers out. We have done an all-island tour. We've been around all 14 parishes now. We have done a number of county rallies and training sessions across the country and all of that. But here's the bottom line. For all of that to happen, it requires two things: people and money. And so when you're judging us, I know that in the minds of all Jamaicans, they judge the UIC on what they see the other two parties doing. What they fail to keep in mind, though, is that the other two parties have $300 million, for example, from the PSOJ. We have you. The UIC, in our fundraising efforts, have not raised 1% of what the other two parties have raised. And by raising, hear me carefully, they're not raising their money from the common man and woman. They're raising their money from a small source that have a lot of money that then controls them. So when you're not getting the Jamaica that you want, please know that it's the PSOJ that's funding these two parties. So you're getting the Jamaica that the PSOJ wants you to have. So since they are funding these two parties, the two parties are working for them. We now have to fund the UIC, which is very difficult. And as Creditboss said earlier on, I have chosen the most difficult path. The easiest path would have been to join the other two, but if I did, that would be no change at all. The hardest part is to do what I'm doing now, because there's no other way, and we now have to find a way to fund that. I'm doing the best that I can, and I want you to start doing the best that you can. If all 3 million of us here at home, well, 2 million, the rest are children. If 2 million of us here at home, plus the 3 million of us overseas, get engaged in fixing Jamaica, then the UIC will have the funds to do all the things you want to see us do. You'll see us in every nook and cranny and the best candidates everywhere. But without your full support, it's still only a wishing game. We're working hard, but we can only work as hard as the Jamaican people rise up and allow us to work.
Before I go, and thank you so much for being patient and answering my question, but before I go, like I said the last time you were here, we spoke, and I asked you, how do you plan to convince Jamaicans that this time voting for the UIC is not going to be the same as voting for the other politicians that came before Rob Steele and left us without anything
Yes.
but broken promises. I know that it's a hard shoe to fit, because a lot of us feel like we're giving up. How are you feeling about people's condition? How they feel about voting the next time around?
Yeah.
From talking to them, you said you've gone door to door. How do they feel right now in Jamaica about the voting process? Are they willing to do this? Are they ready to go down this road again? Are they giving up? Just let me know.
Sure.
But
No,
like I said,
they're
I'll be in the comments listening to you, and I thank you so very much for
Thank you.
answering me. And I look forward to seeing you again on the back.
Same here. So to answer your question, those persons that we have spoken to always prefer the UIC option, like the majority of Jamaicans that we have spoken to. Now, we have not gotten to the majority of Jamaicans, but the majority of those we have spoken to, they love the UIC option. They want what the UIC has to offer. The question now is whether or not we're able to reach more Jamaicans. And that's the challenge. We need more funding and more volunteers to get out there, but we're doing it one step at a time.
You know what I can say to you?
Yes.
Because it was a sharing is scary, right?
Yes.
And people, this is what I can say still. This is my opinion still, people. As what Mr. Patterson said, right? At 70 at the year now, the two parties are in the country, right? And things go up and things go down, right? That means, you know, say crime gone way up. And what about different stuff, right? And I think a 5 or 10 year person have a certain term. Or 5 year?
5 years normally is one term, and both parties have had several terms.
So what I'm saying now, people, we know fee say it's supposed to be on any kind of to try on new party at Jamaica, you know, for one term, you know, people think about it, because I remember, you know, after me and look at the top one, I remember Frank and them said that that's one coming.
Mm-hmm.
Either I say something now, you know, judge me wrong for this thing, you know, put that judge. Right? And me, you know, my grandmother always I do. Always I got church, always I pray. Always I got church, always I this one. She still not suffer. He still not suffer. So we are trying to set up to a lot of people. And we, you know, as a young people right now in our society, right? We know I try to make things great and good. As I always say to people, you see me, as the 90s, speaking about 1992, we are the last generation of absence. The sense we have, we know right from wrong, we know what I only go on, I only be, okay, to water, okay, to deal with coal, okay, fire stick, and if you have a route to allow them, you get beat from them, plus when you move to them, you get beat too. But I'm that church for Sunday. I know say 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock you have to watch you when you have to go to your bed.
Yeah.
To the very last speaking. And this is going on. We don't want each other, don't we know? And we're the same one who want each other, don't we know? We're the good achievement, same way. And we're one of the few as well who are trying to make things great as well. Most of the 90s kids then. You know, I say I'm perfect at the time we do good stuff, but we do right from wrong. So, when we are trying to say, as we say, every Sunday we have to go to church, to the granny go to church, and then pray say, let us soon come. And then to the mother say, let us soon come, then pray right over the clock. That's not just as a prayer, say, pray for what you want, and God will give it to you. You know, I say, nothing not go say, but nothing not go so. You have to go out there for yourself. You have to go out there for yourself to get me. So you have to sit there and pray. I'm going to stay here and pray. Somebody go and get you. See what I mean? I got to live on here. I just want to book up that. I want to have room more. To some people. You have to go out there and put the that life. And I'm telling you, I'm going to judge the people. I'm just saying, this is life. Think about it. This is life. Watch out. Tell them, man, it's my opinion again. God, no responsibility I see it, no responsibility and we responsibility you ever see that I come on TV and say, what's that church? I don't mean I say that. You ever see that I come on TV and I say, go to that church? I will be seeing one. Can I see it and I go for them banger? I try to fix for them probably whenever I do it. And it's hard to fix. It's when they fix that when they come back here as well. We are reading. So we have to fix weed on there. We have to fix weed on there. And so we not fix weed on there. We not fix weed. We not come to the understanding. We come to the understanding. But guess what? The one who have the power. If I come like we don't know how to get to them, he is to get them full force. What they can do for one Juve? You know what is Juve, Mr. Patterson?
No.
Carnival.
Okay.
Where fed, power and them. What they can do for one? And guess what? Police and the crowd like the rice cream. But guess what? You can't see no police. Because the people are too much more than police. So that's all I'm saying. They say the whole world come out and say, this bullshit. We want print money and I put price go up and so now we see them work hard like a little bit and nothing. We want better. Can't think about it. So the man who print money, put it this way, the man who print money, he get paid by money and he get paid by assets. Because there's no money, he can print money and money can buy anything. And me I get money and what asset I get. The whole is understand what I'm saying. Because like working on money days where my money I bring them. To keep up with the Uno, we go buy stuff. And me I get paid by money. That makes sense. That's what I'm saying.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The company is very complicated. It's a person who
Well, actually, it's not complicated, but they have made it complicated. You may not know.
People who just joined the line, we have Mr. Patterson on the line. This is from the UIC party. By a couple of years from now, this can be the next Prime Minister in Jamaica. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to have a march.
Yeah, Thursday.
They're going to have a march this Thursday. And what I can say, Mr. Patterson, it's a TV, CV, certain network, black out.
All of them. Yeah. Yes, all of them.
So I'm going to ask you something. already have the answer for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You reach out to TVJ?
Yeah, man. Yeah. We have done all the, we have done all this stuff. Send our press releases and all that kind of stuff. I'll give you an example. Watch this. Recently, one of the ministers of government made a statement about gun rights. It's a position that the UIC has held before any of the other parties even mention it. We have declared that every Jamaican must have a right to defend themselves, and therefore you have a right to own a licensed, legitimate firearm. If you are competent and qualified to own one, you should have the right to own one, because we can't have the criminals having guns, the police can't seem to handle them, and we can't help ourselves. You know, the gleaner went and found a non-existing political party and asked them to comment on the matter, and avoided asking us, so that they wouldn't have to print in their paper the UIC's position on the issue. Now the minister, who is talking, borrow the UIC's policy, but the gleaner won't ask us to comment on our own policy that he has now stolen. They went and asked a defunct political party that doesn't exist, that is not registered officially, and asked them to comment on it. That's the kind of thing we're having in Jamaica, where the UIC is kept out of the news. So if you notice, any issue comes up, you hear this party position and that party position, but you never hear the UIC, even though we have a position, we have published our position, we have shared our positions with them. Our positions are blatantly on our website, long before many of the positions you now hear from the PNP and the GLP. Mark Golden just went to a conference and spit out a number of UIC positions that they have now taken, modified it a little bit, and spit it back out to the people. Andrew Holness did the same thing over the last couple of years. And what they do, they block the UIC from the people. So when the people hear those announcements, when they finally hear it from the UIC, and somebody says, oh, me hear that already. Because they would have gotten the chance, having the microphone and being fed to the people on a daily basis, the people will come to think that only these two parties exist, and whatever position they hear, it's these two parties who have presented it, when in fact they're stealing from us.
Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Patterson.
Good night, my dear.
How are you, Mr. Patterson? This is the second time I saw you over here, sir.
Wonderful. I'm doing fine, thank you, and good to hear from you.
How is it going down there?
Well, it's hard work, but it's going. We're making headway, slowly but surely.
Because we definitely need that,
Thank you, we do. I need it badly.
We definitely need that, because as you can see, the guns are taking over Jamaica.
Yes. The criminals are taking over Jamaica.
And they got to have a channel that they're coming through in order to get there.
Absolutely.
So, at least we have to try and clamp down on certain areas.
Yes.
Because even it was yesterday Monday. It was yesterday. I was strolling on Instagram, and I realized that all the fun and the games that people normally enjoy, they have to be on the lookout, because I saw videos circulating on social media where they shoot up a football match.
Yes.
And I am sure that kids were in that mix.
Yes.
And then a number of persons were injured.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying here is that the whole crime thing is like education.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm very scared, Mr. Patterson, to be honest.
Yes.
And if you have some strategies that you are going to implement in order to cut down crime and violence, we need you.
Absolutely. We just by electing the UIC alone, you change the crime problem, because now instead of having two gangs in charge of government, you're going to have a clean government where the people are clean.
Right.
We're not connected with criminals in the different constituencies.
And all the people who is trying to be on the right side.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what we need. I also saw this young man in Jamaica that I admire him daily, Mr. Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
He's not on the political side based on what I see, but that young man is a great young man to have on your team.
Who is
I
that?
don't know if you heard about him. He's Andre Stevenson.
Yeah, I've heard about him. I've seen him. I have to reserve my opinion because there's so many sides to it. You know, my understanding is that he used to be a part of the current government party, and
Okay.
yeah, and then he left because they had. I think when he left, they said that it was because of he didn't get his partner draw. That's what I heard. He didn't get his partner draw. He didn't get what he thought he should have gotten, and there was some angry stuff going on. But outside of that, you know, the UIC is open to all Jamaicans who share the desire for a safe, clean, and orderly Jamaica where we can all enjoy a decent living. No, so everybody is welcome who want that, wherever you come from. You know, people in our party now, some may be JLP before, some may be PNP before, some may be independent, some may be anything. We just want to unite the nation around good governance. Let's unite around good governance so we can all enjoy a decent Jamaica, eh? No, so.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That's your 5 minutes.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, nice talking to you again, Mr. Patterson, for the second time.
Same here.
I just want to tell you to keep up the good work and never lose focus until you're here.
Thank you. Same to you, my dear.
Us as Jamaican who is from afar looking in.
Thank you for your support.
And
Much appreciated.
Much respect to you, sir, and your family.
Thank you, my dear. All the best. Keep in touch.
All right, have a good night.
Same to you.
Good night. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear. This is DJ Turtle Creditboss and the Creditboss. Mr. Patterson on the line from the UIC party. You have any question on the house? You have 5 minutes. Yeah, man, definitely. Good night, Mr. Patterson.
Good night. Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm well.
Excellent.
I'm kind of late to the party, you know. Literally and figuratively. So I have a couple of questions I want to ask you. I'm sure that somewhere along the journey you probably have explained this already.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can just apply it for a second.
Sure.
All right. So a friend of mine have been telling me about it for like the past 6 to 7 months, and then I did go and do a little reading and stuff like that. So the first question I would have is what does the transition period look like? In that moving towards the republic that you described in theory.
Yes.
And moving away from the state of governance that we are in now, which will require some sort of constitutional reform. How would that go?
Yes.
And in continuance, I'm going to go and then I just allow you to answer.
Sure.
In continuance, what is the plan to secure the country, both physically and economically? When I say that, I mean against physical attacks and against strong financial tactics. Because let's be honest, Mr. Patterson, if you're really honest in what they say you're going to do, what you're going to do is actually going against the grain, as they would have said. No, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to expect some form of economic pushback from the powers that be. And let us not be naive as well. We've seen situations where countries have invaded countries when, you know, they're not going along the pattern that they want them to go. So how you plan on, so the first part of the question is what the transition period would look like, moving away from this form of governance into what you're proposing, and also when you get to that phase, how do you secure the country financially and otherwise?
Wonderful question. And I know the gravity and seriousness of your question. I can't answer it with the level of detail that you want because if I'm going to be able to be diplomatic and negotiate Jamaica's way out of some of the problems we're in, I can't divulge all of that now. But let me say this. The transition period is going to be swift in terms of the Constitution. We're not going to try to change the Constitution. That would take forever. We're going to replace it. Changing it would be, tying up ourselves in a whole lot of knots and bundles, and it was designed that way. So in my first year of office, we're going to have a constitutional committee that is formed. Would already have a draft. We're going to complete that draft with a council of constitutional lawyers and representation from different civil society groups. In that first year, we're going to have town hall meetings across the country where we explain the new constitution to the people, take their inputs and feedback, and then at the end of the first year, we're going to have an a referendum. So the Jamaican people would vote for their new constitution. This will immediately and irrevocably replace the monarchy and all the colonial systems that we're used to, and bring in force a new republic form of governance that will see the Jamaican people be at the top as the sovereign, and the rule of law as our model of governance, and a different governance model that will elect a president by the people nationally, 3 county vice presidents through each county, 14 elected senators instead of 21 appointed, and somewhere between 33 and 63 members of parliament who live in their constituency. This is going to change everything about Jamaica overnight, pretty much. In terms of protecting ourselves economically and militarily, first and foremost, our economic model is going to be one where we become self-reliant. So we're going to move away from being dependent on borrowing and importing as our way of living by moving to organic farming. But that's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be transition. We're going to get rid of all the crown lands and divest those to the people. We're going to get on a massive house building program to get 98% of our people as homeowners. We're going to get into construction to complete unfinished homes within reason, and get all of those assets up to code for the Jamaican people by giving them a place to live. Now, this is their right, by the way. We should never have been landless in the first place, right? That was a trick and a theft by colonialism. So we're going to reverse that immediately and give the land back to the people, but we're going to do it in a structured way. The lands are going to be, the good lands are going to be for agriculture again, but we're going to do mass agriculture like the Netherlands so we can feed our people and export the difference. And massive exports we're talking about. Then the other lands now we're going to build upwards, so we preserve as much of the land as possible, but give all those the people in the ghettos and the garrisons and the squatters, move them out of those communities, completely erase them, and move them into high condominium buildings, the types you see in Singapore, using a similar model to theirs. This is going to create a balance in the economy. The construction boom together with the agri boom, and building out what we call community tourism now across all 14 parishes, and changing the temperature of those parishes to look like tourist resort, will affect the minds of the people, spring the economy forward, give us some 500,000 jobs overnight, and lift the economy to a different level. Now, as that percolates through the economy now, our school system will start generating higher intelligence persons who can now handle higher manufacturing type jobs, particularly in the chips industry, microchips industry, and the programming industry, and the graphic design and that kind of industry. So we're really going to move Jamaica step by step. So the first 5 years is the fundamental setting. The new constitution, removing regulations that's currently stifling small businesses, moving to a free banking model to expand the capital access in the market, starting the tourism and the agriculture conversion. And by year 10, you have all of this now fully functioning. Year 15, now you have that newer set of Jamaicans coming on stream that has gone through the education system, well developed mentally now, because we have a nutrition program from prenatal stage, helping our mothers to really have good children, meaning they're not just drinking soda and eating bulla. They now have proper nutrition from motherhood into the children, with proper nutrition at basic school, having master's teachers at the basic school level, riding all the way up to PhD level for those who can make it. Everybody have access, regardless of your economic standing. Once you have the brain for it, we're going to take you all the way so we can convert Jamaica now into a modern version of Singapore and beyond. And by the end of year 15, Jamaica would have become a first-class country. And by the end of year 20, we're completely unstoppable and untouchable by any other country on the planet.
the only, okay, fair enough. I have one other question though. So let us say hypothetically, well, let us say the Christian people say speaking into being.
Yes.
So let us say the UIC, the election is called in 2025 and the UIC wins. 2025 is only 3 years away, less than 3 years away as a matter of fact.
Yes.
To unchange. So starting out, how would you address the debt that we have to these nations and to these bodies that we owe money to, because the debt not going mysteriously and magically go away. And if we're going to, break ties from these countries and these bodies, would they be in a position to like say them, them long and short of it, they want their money?
Yeah, man. So we're not going to be fools, eh? We're not going to do like one of our leaders did back in the 70s and pick a fight with our with those who hold us by the neck, right? So we're not going to pick a fight. What we're going to do is to apply some basic things. First of all, Jamaica loses about $250 million US a year through corruption. If we just cut off that alone, you can pay down a significant portion of your debt every year, right? That's one. Secondly, most of Jamaica's debt, believe it or not, 80% of it is local debt, meaning it's held by our local banks, the mafias that we have created, the banking mafias that our government has created by sleight of hand. They tricked us in the 1990s under Patterson and Davis. They tricked us with the high interest rate policy and caused us to destroy a lot of small businesses and made the banks very rich and put our people in this debt-ridden, not just them, but that was a big part of it, the FinSAC era. So we are going to undo that, but do it systematically. We're not going to use a heavy hammer. We're going to renegotiate that 80% of our loan portfolio with those who know that they've gotten an unjust gain on the heads of the Jamaican people. They'll have a choice to make, The choice they're going to have to make is, do they allow us to put in tough regulations that will cost them in the long run, or do they adjust themselves to help the Jamaican people out of a problem that they helped to create? But we'll negotiate that. On the international side, we're going to pay those debt, but we're going to spread that out further through a different kind of refinancing that allows us the space to build the economy, right? Because we have to really shift our focus now to the internal. The current governments, they're focused on meeting IMF demands and requirements at the expense of the people. And they have done that now for 60 years, That's why we have less than 1% growth per year. If we do not change that trajectory and shift the focus to building our people internally, and there's some easy ways to do it. For example, if you change the tax system to make it smaller but broader, you'll still have the kind of money you need coming in. But now you're going to have more people being a part of the what do you call it now? A part of the official system. And they don't have to hide anymore. So now they can grow their business faster because they're not hiding from the law, because the law is too onerous and too taxing. We're going to reduce the taxation, reduce the regulatory burdens, give them the capacity they need, give them the capital they need by changing to a free banking model, expanding the banking base by making banking more friendly for Jamaicans, and that is going to give us the productivity we need at the small level, the small man, the micro level. If you can build out that micro level and small business level, you're going to have greater access to capital, greater access to job, and a faster growing economy.
Okay, all right, fair enough, Mr. Patterson. And then, those are the questions I had. One of the things that made me really pay UIC and another thing to pay attention is basically one of the arguments I saw, a clip that my friend sent to me when you were speaking about minimum wage.
Yes.
And when I heard the explanation and theory about minimum wage, that kind of made me, zone in a little bit more. So thanks for your time. Thank you for answering the questions.
My pleasure, man. Anytime.
I want to say thank you very much for taking time out and join this platform and ask these type of questions. 100% appreciate it. No problem.
Respect. Good night. Thank you.
Mr. Patterson, what I want to say now to the audience and on the live, it's going to be 2 hours now. I'm on the live now, right? And just now the live went up cuts. And this is very interesting. interested people, then they must start run two. Say run two. Don't three, I should say. And now I'm alive and now I run for 4 hours. But you listen to on Instagram, so you don't know what she for. But what I can say, Mr. Patterson, I'm gonna bring you back for sure. That's one. You have to just pick dates at that time.
Yeah.
And we have to bring all that real good and promote that real good.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to say to you now at this time, tell you we're gonna take it this week in Jamaica.
Yes, man. Right. So everybody, you need to come out on Thursday at 10 a.m. We'll meet at Ward Theatre. It's going to be big. Our goal right now, we're not even looking to the politicians, and we're not asking them for nothing because we know where them stay ready. What we want to do now is start to mobilize the Jamaican people to demand good governance. We're tired of the failures of our healthcare system, our education system, our roads, our teachers, the brain drain, the nurses. We're tired of all of that. We're tired of the corruption. We're tired of the theft. So the goal on Thursday, September 22nd, is to have what we call a march for good governance now. And we're demanding that of ourselves. We're not demanding that of Andrew or Mark. We know that they're not going to give us good governance. They are committed to keeping us in the colonial model. They're committed to maintaining the master-slave model. We, the people, me and you, we are going to have to take matters into our own hands. We have to come out tomorrow in our numbers and tell the rest of our brothers and sisters on the street that they need to join the movement, make the UIC their movement, because it is their movement. We're not funded by no PSOJ. We're not funded by the colonial masters. We are funded, we're owned, we're controlled by we the people. You and me, we control this movement here. And because of that, when we elect ourselves, at the next election, you're voting for yourself. It's the first time in the history of Jamaica you're going to be voting for yourself. And when you vote for yourself and we elect ourselves, we're going to do the things we need to make Jamaica safe, make Jamaica clean, make Jamaica orderly, make Jamaica a country where every one of us can live, earn, and retire with dignity in our own country. Nobody now going to run away again to become economic refugees in another man's land. We have to come together now and make this happen. It's not Joseph Patterson that's going to do it. It's we the people that are going to do it. So Thursday, the 22nd of September, come out to Ward Theatre, downtown Kingston, and say, we the people demand good governance now because enough is enough. 78 years is a long time to wait. We have given them every opportunity and they have failed us. And now we the people must take over and fix our country. It's time. I think they're saying the time is now or time now. We say time up. So Mark Golding said time now, and he means for them to get time again in this little merry-go-round circus where they fool us up with pretty promises. But don't allow them this time. Tell them time up, and we're going to take over our country now.
Okay, and you always be excellent by the way you express yourself, or you actually explain yourself, that the average person can actually understand what you're saying, and you're a person that you actually use these big words that is very nice. So at least the lower person can actually hear what you say. Oh, God, lower person, and now, yeah, that's right. And the next thing what I want to say to you, I'm not sure if you can get this stuff broadcast. I will come live and I will talk to you after the live. The live is coming down now.
Yes,
that's
all right.
Thanks to everyone who was taking time out to be on this live. This is Mr. Patterson and UIC Party in Jamaica. People who want to love sharing is caring. Thanks to everyone who joined.
Respect.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Take care.
I will talk to you after.
Okay, my friends, so that was it on DJ Turtle. I hope you could hear everything. We have a lot of work to do, eh? So we're on the live now for 2 hours and 6 minutes. But please let us make sure we come out on September 22nd. I know they're hoping to kill the UIC. They're hoping by blocking us from TV, by blocking us from radio, they're hoping that they can kill the UIC. They're hoping by blocking us from the newspapers, by even suppressing us on social media. And it's not just the Jamaican government, Right now we're in a battle against massive forces. And the only way we're going to win this battle is if we, the people, not Joseph Patterson, not the UIC, let's say the UIC. The UIC is you and me. The UIC is you and me. It is we coming together, united as independent thinkers to be a Congress, not even a party. We're bigger than party. We're more important than party. We're talking about a Congress of independent thinking Jamaicans saying time up with this fake system of governance, with this fake democracy, with this thieving corrupt system. We're saying time up. We want a new and better Jamaica now, one that's built on good governance, one that's built on equality before the law, one that's built on justice, one that's built on equal opportunity. We're saying time up with FIDEM system, with FIDEM colonial system. We want real prosperity now. We want real freedom now. We want real independence now. That's what we're working for. So I want to thank all of you. Pat Lewis, thank you so much for your support. Thank you very much, Lion Rule the Jungle. Thanks to all of you. I know there are questions, but I'm tired now. I'm tired now. I need to go to my bed and get ready for work tomorrow. And then, we're downtown on Thursday morning. Please come out. We need to stand up for our rights. If we don't stand up, if we do not stand up for ourselves, who going to stand up for we? We can't expect the GLP to stand up for we. We can't expect the PNP to stand up for we. We can't expect the PSOJ to stand up for we. They have not done it in 78 years. They're not going to do it again. And we have to stand up for ourselves now. Wherever we're there. Whether you're there, England or Canada or America or Sweden or France or Germany or Singapore, no matter where you are, stand up for yourself now. Join the Jamaican people. Let's join hands together and let's stand up for a free and prosperous Jamaica that we are going to make for ourselves. It's free time now as a people, not as parties. We're done with the party thing. We're going to get rid of the party thing now. We want to be one Jamaica, united, strong, and free. So we're going to create that. And we have to be committed to doing it. We have to pay for it with our blood, sweat, and tears. Of course, with our money too. We are going to have to pay for it. If we want good, our nose might have to run. We are going to have to stand up and say the time has come. Let's take our country from those two parties. Let's take our country from the PSOJ. Let's take our country from the colonial powers. Never again must anybody come tell us, but we must go bow down and worship at the foot of some foreign masters. Tell us to mourn for 12 days for those who robbed us and raped us and took away our land and our people and our money and our wealth. Crazy. Must never allow that to happen again. And to bow down to them about your governor general and wearing their insignia. No. Enough is enough. We have to say enough is enough and stop this kind of foolishness. So please, if for nothing else, do it for yourself, Do it for your children. Let us do this for it's a huge sacrifice for me and my family. May I tell you, it's tough, it's difficult, it is hard. Because there are many other things I could be doing with my time. You understand? Many things I could be doing with my time. So many things. You would not imagine what I could be doing with my time. But I am committed to creating a better Jamaica, a new Jamaica. And I hope you're committed to. I need your commitment. I need your support. I can't do this by myself. We have to rise up. We have to rise up in every way. We're talking about incompetences, All of us have to get involved and do something competently to move this movement forward. We can't just be lazy about it. We can't just be nonchalant about it. We have to get active and engaged and militant about the Jamaica we want to see. We have to realize that we're at war. We're in a battle. The enemy seems friendly, because the enemy comes to us with nice orange cloth and nice green cloth with bell and fist and blow horns and T-shirts and festivities and conferences and excitement, and tell us what we want to hear. They come and tell us some nice things. You hear them. They come and tell us nice things about them going fix maternity leave. They're going to change ganja legislation to make it better. They're going to do this and do that. Don't make them fool you again. Do not. This is fool them. I fool you again. They fool my mother. They fool my grandmother, and they fool my great grandmother. You understand? Don't let them fool us too and fool our children. We must stop them from fooling us. You know how it hurts me when I look and watch them on television and see my Jamaican people jumping up. It's like dancing to go to your funeral. It's like dancing as you're going to fall over a precipice and you have no idea that there's a precipice right there. They cover it up and you're dancing and cheering as you go over the precipice. That's what's happening right now. Please go back and check all of the slogans. Deliverance is near. Yeah? You remember that? Make money jingling in the pocket. Remember that? You remember all those slogans? Log on to progress. Prosperity time now. All of these things. The enemy is pretty. The enemy is coming to you like an angel. Sorry, like a, what do you call it now? I forgot the phrase. But he's dressed like an angel of light. And they come with fancy advertisement. They're going to kill you with fancy advertisement. They're going to have lovely, nice, sweet things that the UIC cannot do. We don't have money to pay for bus to come from left, right, and center to bring people to arenas. We don't have money to go and pay people to pretend as if they're supporting us. Yeah? Everybody who is in the UIC is a volunteer. They're volunteering their time and talents. They're making huge sacrifices. Anybody who come into this party here, because you're going up against the grain, you're going up against powers and principalities. It's very difficult. So joining the UIC is no easy task. Leading the UIC is no easy task. They're going to stab you in the back, left, right, and center. They're going to seek to tear you down. So it's not easy. And when you're trying to work with people, you have people who have a good heart, but they not have the competencies, right? They might not be able to articulate properly. They can't write properly. They can't reason properly. They can't analyze properly. They can't build strategy properly. So you have all of these difficulties and deficiencies to work with. So don't judge us out of the same book that you're judging the others. These guys have millions of dollars to pay for expert strategists, to pay for expert marketing talent, to pay for all kind of professional help and so on. Yeah. So they are designing all manner of schemes as to how they're going to trick you this time. Every 5 years, from one election to the next, they spend time planning how they're going to trick you. And so by the time the next election come around, they start to roll out little by little by little by little their strategy, how they're going to really win again. If you're a PNP, what old-time manly song they're going to use to touch your emotions, what images and words they're going to use to appeal to you again, to remember the soft spot that you have in your heart for Michael Manley. They're going to wheel you in with lies. They're going to tell you even good things. They're going to tell you about which program they brought in, whether it is no bastard, no day again, or NHT, or the heart, or the this and the that and the this. What they're not telling you, while the program may be good, the corruption that they have was greater than the program. So the program may have been a good program or a good intended program, but the actual implementation of the program was designed to steal every last bit of hope out of this country. You know how many Jamaicans have left school, can't read or write properly, can't do math or science properly, can't reason or analyze properly because they underpaid our teachers, they understaffed our schools, they underbuilt our schools, built less schools than they should have built. They under-equipped our schools, so the teachers never have the resources, the teaching aids to properly teach you. Yeah, seriously. And so they have tricked us. Yes, they do some good-looking things from time to time, but don't look at the occasional deeds of good. Look at the general trend of their actions. What is the general trend? The general trend is a declining society, declining dollar, declining job market, declining income relative to cost of living, declining communities, declining social values and norms in our society. So yes, if you were to pick, you could pick one or two little things that seem like they are good. And themselves, by themselves, yes, are good. But the overall scheme, the grand scheme of things, that's all them failing. And they're failing because they're not working for you. They're working for those who funded them. And that is why we have to own and fund this movement that they forced us to call a party. They force us, they change the laws and says, for you to compete in elections, you must be a party or you can't form the government. So the UIC movement became a party in order to win government without using force and violence. We're going to win the government at the ballot box. Very hard enough because they have that down pat. They know how they're going to win. They know that they control the media. They know they control the big money. So they know that no third party can't win. Not because the people wouldn't vote for a third party, but they are going to make sure the people don't know about the third party. They're going to make sure that the third party can't effectively communicate with the people to be able to win over the people by blocking us and by spending money to promote themselves, by getting criminal journalists to go on and deliberately leave out the name of the UIC and only call the name of the other two parties to cement the trick in the minds of the people. And so they're doing a very good job of it. And we need to do a better job. When I say we, I don't mean the UIC as a party that Joseph Patterson leads. I mean the UIC as a movement that we lead. We, the people, have to own it. So we now have to go out there in the byways and the highways, and we have to find the people and bring them in. We have to go out there and tell our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, our co-workers, our neighbors, our friends, our enemies, our overseas relatives, our local relatives. We, the people, have to get up and stand up and become the media outlet of the UIC. We have to be our own media. So our WhatsApp, we have to send things by WhatsApp. Our Facebook, we have to share everything on our Facebook. Our Instagram, share everything on our Instagram. Our Twitter, share on our Twitter. We have to get involved. If you can cut up a video and make it over, cut it up and splice it and send it out. Don't wait for the UIC to get it done. You do it. If you want to print something, go print something. Take something off our website. Make up your own little flyer about the UIC and give it out. Yeah, of course, don't use our logo without our permission. But this is your party. Yeah? So let us now go out there. This is your movement. Let us go out there and sell the movement to our family and friends. Get them to come on the website and join. Get them to subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, and our pages, and to get engaged. And you help us to raise money. Donate, raise money, and contribute, and help to find candidates in your area. Find the best person in your community and tell them, I want you to become a UIC candidate. I like you. I trust you. I believe in you. The people in the community believe in you. We want you to join the UIC, become a candidate, and represent us in the next election. Yes, you can do that. So I have to go now. Good night. Thanks again for everything. And see you on Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Ward Theatre. We're going to be live right here on UIC Liberty TV, and as well as on Facebook and other platforms. And so if you can't make it in person, join us on the live. But please, if you live in Jamaica and you're able to come, come. If you can't come, send somebody and send a few people. All right? Thank you very much. See you on Thursday, September 22nd, 10 a.m. at the Ward Theatre. Have a good night. All the best.